You are here one moment, you're thinking, you're going about your day, and then bang, something happens and you're gone. Today, an old fella rocked up, 82 years old. Ambulance brought him in, and from what the story was from their side, it looked like he was going to be a urosepsis, basically meaning he's got a urine infection which is spread into the bloodstream, and now it's a systemic problem. He's febrile, all that kind of stuff. They're telling us, the vital signs and whatever, and a few things don't match up. Like, he's not really that febrile, doesn't have a high temperature. But anyway, we start looking for things, taking blood tests, doing x-rays and whatever. We do what we call a septic screen, where we test the urine, we do x-rays. We basically look for infections, see if there's any sores on his body, all that kind of stuff. Look for sources of infection. So, we do a whole bunch of things. The chest x-ray looks pretty clear. We do the urine sample, looks pretty clear. Nothing lights up there. So we're like, well, that's interesting. This man, apparently for the last 36 hours with his wife at home, independent living, at 82. She reports that he just became very drowsy about 36 hours earlier, and he had a long night's sleep and then woke up and didn't really wake up. And he stayed drowsy, and, halfway through the day, she was like, well, something is wrong. It's damn near 1 p.m. and he's still in bed. Something is wrong. She couldn't rouse him, so she called the ambulance. Ambulance brings him in, and they kind of paint the picture of urosepsis, something's trouble with the urine. Now, when he first arrived, it sounded as though that maybe there was a story like that. There was an offensive smell of urine, and we were all like, okay, let's see. Once everything came back, chest x-ray, urine, all the bloods came back like normal, it was decided that we needed to do a CT of his brain. Okay, so we need to look for why he's so drowsy. Maybe he's had a bleed. So, you're still kind of like in the diagnostic stage. You're kind of doing all these different things. So I take this guy, this fella, to radiology, and we slide him over to the bed. He's still very, very comatose, essentially. GCS of 8, for those of you that understand the Glasgow Coma Scale. So he's basically unrousable. He doesn't talk. He doesn't open his eyes. He does localize to pain. So that gives him like a 7 or 8 GCS. So normal GCS is 15. That's me right now talking to you guys. Take him to radiology. We slide him over to the CT scanner. We do the CT scan, and I'm in the room. I've set up the monitoring so I can see him through the window. The pictures come back, and immediately the radiographer's like, oh. And so I'll look closer, and she's like, yeah, he's had a massive bleed. So he's had a bleed on the brain. And I'm like, oh, can you show me? And she's like, showing me. And it's like through the brain stem, through the ventricles, he's basically gone. He's gone. His body's still alive, but over the course of the next 24 hours, he's going to continue to bleed into those spaces in his skull, in his brain. And eventually the pressure in his brain, in the skull, because it's a closed box essentially, it's going to continue to bleed, and it's going to create intracranial pressure that's too high, and it's going to start to push on structures around the brain, and basically you die. There's a process called coning, which is essentially the pressure gets so high in the brain that the brain starts to get pushed down through the base of skull, essentially. These are like very last moments of life when somebody has a brain bleed. It kind of shook me up a little bit because when he first arrived, I was like, cool, no worries. We'll give this guy antibiotics. We'll, touch him up. Like, the chest x-ray doesn't look bad. He'll wake up once the infection goes. And then the CT comes back, and I'm like, wow, man. And I was sad. I mean, I see this stuff every day, but this fella really kind of shook me up for some reason. Independent from home with his wife. His wife rang the department while we were at CT, and the guys in the nurse station, they're like, oh yeah, he's just a CT scan, he'll be back soon, and you can, we'll update you. We had no idea, like none of us expected this. So I come back, bring him into the department. I walk up to the senior doc, and I'm like, this is what's happened. He's like, oh, damn. And so just like that, something popped in his brain, he started bleeding, and that was it. Of his consciousness, of his life, how he knew it, that was it. And it makes you just kind of like really think about everything. Like, a lot of you guys ask me, why do you think the way you think, and blah, 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 blah. These type of stories that I'm telling you right now is basically a daily for me. Sometimes I feel more than other times, depending on multiple different reasons. But then I have sometimes where like I go through this and I'm like, oh shit, like I did not expect this. Like from the story that we heard from ambulance, I was thinking it was going to be urosepsis. Now, sepsis is a very dangerous thing as well, and a lot of people die, especially at that age. But, at least you have a chance, to fight the infection through antibiotics and, fluid resus and all this sort of stuff. But like a bleed like that is inoperable. I don't care who you are, how old you are. That type of bleed deep down in the brain is inoperable. Like it's a death sentence for anybody. And it shook me up a little bit, Once again, this is an independent fella from home living. So this is not like a nursing home guy who is, bed bound, can't do anything, he can't toilet himself, he can't eat by himself. This is a guy that lived a pretty decent life by the sounds of it. When I say independent from home, like he's living normal life. He's 82, yeah, sure. He's not a spring chicken, but he's living life somewhat with decent quality. And now gone. And now this lady that's at home, his wife, she's probably not going to be far away after him in terms of her life and her demise. That's usually how it happens. People, when they lose a loved one at that age, usually they follow. It's just you're heartbroken, and that stress usually takes them as well. Health breaks down. So I go through these thoughts, these moments every day. Sometimes, like I said, they touch me more deeper than other times. But, you go about your day. So, I come home, get my kids, we go to basketball, come back, train, all that stuff. And I'm carrying this with me, and I don't know, like it carries and it allows me to have so much more meaning about my life as I go on. It's not a normal life. The people that are not in health don't understand this. Yeah. You can watch docos, you can watch this and that, but like when you're always around this sort of stuff, dude, the squat every day is a walk in the park, man. It's a walk in the park. It's about the mental. And so I get reminded about the how fragile life is on a daily basis. And I'm so freaking blessed. So I come in here. And I celebrate. I celebrate every single day that I'm happy. I'm just happy, man. And this is where I think happiness comes from. That there's a purpose behind you, you understand how lucky you are. Well, I think a lot of us live our life and we don't understand how lucky we actually are. And you start to take things for granted. Like, I did 140 for 5 front squat. That's shit, man. I've done 185 for 1. No, that's amazing, dude. That is amazing when you consider what you just went through. See, it's just a matter of perspective. It's a powerful thing, man. A lot of us go to work, get money, and go home, and that's it, and you got money out of it. But I feel like healthcare, doctoring, nursing, physio, allied health, whatever element you're in, you take home valuable lessons, which I don't know if you can put a value on top. Invaluable, and it changes the course of your life and how you live your life and makes you really appreciate things. Anyway, guys, that's been my day. Another reminder of what keeps me going. Basically, it's another reminder of why is this guy squatting for 5 years in a row, man? Now, all of this might not make sense to you at all because maybe you are performance driven and you want to squat maximum weight or whatever. But this is my connection to what I'm doing here. And whether you believe it or not, whether you accuse me of chasing whatever views or whatever people have done, I don't know if you can fake shit for 5 years, man. But I'm telling you, this is what makes me tick, and this is what is the driver behind a lot of these things. Yeah. Appreciate you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.